Hey guys, it's Generalkidd here. How's everyone doing today? So, for today's video, we're going to be tackling the question of who actually shot down the Sentinel Enforcer on a mission quarantine zone in Halo 2. So, on this mission, when you get to about the halfway point or so, you'll come into this building with a lot of flood, and then once you turn around this corner, you'll come to this more open area, where as you enter here, suddenly, a blown up flood enforcer drops to the ground. And we never actually get to see who blew it up or who shot it down. Now, there's a flood up there firing rocket launchers, and I guess you're meant to believe that that rocket flood, which were very dangerous in Halo 1, shot down that enforcer. But, like I said, that's what Bungie wants you to believe. Is that actually the case, though? Did that rocket flood actually shoot down the Sentinel Enforcer? Well, let's find out and put it to the test. So we're going to be using the tag test version of Halo 2 because that helps us test things out like this. So we are back at this area again, and we are going to go to where the Enforcer is about to drop down. We're going to do this very slowly and pause it right here. I'm going to freeze the game so that nothing's going on anymore, and we're going to go to a free camera mode, and we can see what happens up here. So it looks like the Sentinel Enforcer spawns here destroyed and in pieces. In fact, it's already like split apart here, like kind of like those diagrams of like, you know, like parts, you know, it's like a blown out diagram. But yeah, so let's try to see if we can get it earlier. So here I actually got there too early, and well, I paused it too early, and the Sentinel Force is not there yet. So we're just gonna take a couple steps forward, and we're going to pause it again, and let's take a look at what's going on now, because it doesn't spawn until you hit like a certain trigger there. Alright, so here we are. There's the Enforcer, and it looks like it's just about to be blown up as well. You already see the explosions and everything on it, and it still has lights on it too, but it's already destroyed. Actually, you can see it did not spawn intact, like it did not spawn like fully functional. It's already in a blown up state. It's just now there's an additional explosion, and I guess it's that explosion that, you know, splits it apart. But yeah, I guess this is probably like one of the earliest points I can get it to. And actually across the map, there's a second Sentinel Enforcer there that was shot down as well. But this one you actually never get to see drop in gameplay because usually you're not that quick. I suppose if you turn on the Acrophobia goal, you might be able to see that second one dropping down. But they're both basically the same. They both spawn in like a already destroyed state, an already blown up state, and then they just kind of fall apart and drop down to the ground. But let's actually see that in action. So I'm going to put this into very slow motion, and we could just watch it kind of break apart and drop down. You can see the other one in the back is doing the same thing too. They both just kind of split apart in pretty much the exact same way, the same physics, I suppose. And they just drop down, and that is what you're meant to see. But at no point do we actually see any rocket trails or anything that impacts either of those these Sentinel Enforcers. So nothing actually shoots them down. Not that rocket flood that Bungie wants you to think shot them down. It is actually just, they just literally spawn up here, and I think this is like the split second like earliest I could get it to, as close as possible. This is what it spawns like before it gets blown up, or blown to pieces, I guess, or blown apart, and then drop back down. And you can see that this is the state that it spawns in. So I assume that somewhere in the tags of, or the game files of Halo 2, there might be like some kind of destroyed variant or some version of the Sentinel Enforcer that's meant to be used for just this part, and it spawns like that. Or maybe it's just set to spawn dead or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but there's a lot of ways to achieve something like this in Halo 2, and it's all done either through scripting or through the tags or a combination of both. But there was never any flood combat form that fired a rocket to blow them up. Those flood, they spawn after this, and you know, like I said, it's meant to make it look like the flood shot them down, but nope, they just spawned and then blew up. I guess they were defective models at the Sentinel factory, because the quarantine zone, I believe a lot of this area is supposed to be a Sentinel factory as well, and it does not seem to be in the best shape. So I guess technically, I know it's probably not lore accurate, but technically, you know, the factory could have been damaged and it created a few defective Sentinel Enforcers. So yeah, I mean, there you guys have it. That's who shot down the Sentinel Enforcer, which is nobody. They spawned defective and blew themselves up, essentially, both of them. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and found it interesting. If you did, then make sure to leave a like, leave thoughts in the comments. Anything else we check out, looking into, any questions I'm going to tackle, or other stuff in games you want to check out, just let me know in the comments down below. But aside from that, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you all next time. Bye guys!